Alright, we're having trouble with this Navien combi boiler. NCBE, it's only a few months old. It has a flow switch, flow sensor problem. It's intermittent, so we're just going to replace the flow sensor. Got the new part on hand, so a couple tools you're going to need. Here's my Milwaukee Rover light. It's magnetic, goes in the cabinet like that. Now I can see. That's the flow sensor there. The red, black, and white wire connected to it, the little spool piece. You get the whole entire assembly. Looks like this. I'll get this open for you. That's the flow switch, flow sensor. There. The sensor itself is there. It's a turbine type sensor. They give you this 90-degree assembly here with the temperature sensor in it. So in order to replace that, you can see there's two screw holes in the flange. They come up from the bottom on that brass piece there where the inlet filter is. I'll be removing those screws to release this and those stainless steel clips that hold it onto the flat plate heat exchanger back there. You can sort of see vertically there. Simple wiring harness, Molex connection, and I'll take care of that and I'll show you some more in a second. Here's another specialty tool I just started using recently. It's a flexible shaft screwdriver made by Philo. It's real nice for getting at these screws here on the bottom side. So you can see the service valve is sort of in the way. It just makes it a little easier to reach and flex right around it. Those are the screws holding the bottom side in. Now I'll move up to work inside the cabinet. Stainless steel clips just pop off. No tools needed. Just spread them apart, pull them off. They look like that. This spring clip there. I'm going to pull that off there. I'm also going to pull the one off the top because it makes it easier to grab the fitting. That's just a little blank plug on the top of that 90. I'm going to reach in and grab the one on the flat plate heat exchanger here, which is nearly impossible to see. Pull that off. That one's a little tougher to get at. There we go. So 3 clips holding that in with the 2 screws off the bottom here. Set these aside. Now I'm going to need both hands to get that off. It's pried in there very tightly. Okay, I've pulled it out. I needed both hands, so I had to put my phone down. So you can see you're going to get water draining out of that flat plate heat exchanger. I've got a hose on the isolation valve, the purge valve, but you can't get it all out of there. It's kind of under vacuum until you pull the fitting off. No big deal. You get some water in the bottom of the cabinet. Not the end of the world. Here's one portion of that flow sensor assembly. This is the one with the temperature port in it, and the blank plug at the top. That's the temperature sensor. Senses the inlet water temperature. That just disconnects from this Molex plug here, and then here's the actual flow sensor assembly. You can see is a turbine style. You can blow into that, see it turn. This wire here is connected right at the top of the printed circuit board, top left. You can just pull that out, jiggle the wires out of there, and you've got the other half taken apart. So now grab the new piece and reassemble in reverse order. So you can see the temperature sensor, the flow sensor wire, it's already assembled together. I take this clip off when I put it back together. The reason I do that is because you have to really put a lot of force to get this back into place, and this clip will dig into your hand. So you can take that off and make sure you just replace it. That's just a blank plug in there. No big deal. I'll leave this all assembled like this. Check the O-ring here, lube that up, lube that O-ring there with some silicone grease, and everything It's good to go. Reconnect the wires. Bob's your uncle. One little tip, you see those two screws there, my screwdriver is on one of them. That's holding this whole entire brass fitting assembly, the inlet assembly, to the bottom of the cabinet. If you remove those screws, you'll get just the slightest, and I'm talking maybe a 1/16 of an inch, maybe an 1/8 of an inch play in movement of that assembly. And I can't tell you how valuable that can be. This is very, very tight. You're looking at a horizontal and a vertical O-ring connection, and without that movement, there's no play in these fittings. It is extremely tight to get that entire assembly in there, because it's pushing into the side of the flat plate heat exchanger and down into the brass inlet body. Removing those two screws, holding the bottom of that cold pipe going into the bottom of the combi to move it just about an 1/8 of an inch maybe is enough to get it play and push that thing in there a lot easier than if you don't remove the screws. You can do it without removing the screws, but I'll tell you, get yourself a nice little stubby driver like this. This is the McLean ratcheting stubby driver. Anything like this, it's only about 2.5 inches long. Fits perfectly in there, and it'll help you get that part of it done. So now all I got to do, pop the clips on, which I've got sitting over here, and turn the water back on. Plug the wires back in, of course. Turn the water back on, and I'll be in business. So there's one clip. Get the one over by the on the heat exchanger side. Oh, that's the wrong clip. There are two different size clips. You gotta pay attention to that. One is larger, the one on top of the assembly. So I gotta pull that out. Of course, now it's going to be stuck in there. Turn the camera off, get that thing out. I need both hands. Okay, so I've reconnected the wires. You route the other one behind the circuit panel up to this connection point right here on the top left of the circuit panel. I've flushed the water through at the faucet. What I'll be doing now is I'll just be turning the unit on, let it go through its purge cycle. I've checked for leaks, there are no leaks, everything is good. O-rings did not get damaged. It's going to go through its startup sequence. It's at 16 psi on the heating side. Purge on the fan. Temperature on the heat exchanger right now. Currently, it's not going to start up the flame at this point in time. It's just a standard purge cycle. This will shut down, and then I'll just put it into domestic hot water because I've got a faucet that's on in the other room right now, so I can just control the flow through the unit by operating the purge or the service valve here, and we'll watch it fire up. Alright, so now it's on. I'm going to call for domestic right here. There we go. Flame is running. Turn my light off there. You can see the flame is going. It's got flow through the unit. It's modulating down. No leaks. I'm going to verify the operation here. I'm going to go to E on the information mode. We've got 2.2 gallons per minute running through the unit. Looks like it was a success.